Hi everyone, so in today's makeup tutorial I'm going to be doing a little voiceover. So I decided to do a mermaid look because I entered a Makeup Revolution competition and the theme was sink or swim. As you can see, I have already blocked out my eyebrows. If you look down on my makeup channel for the Creative Valentines, I show you how to block out eyebrows if you want to go check that out. So for the base, I use the Makeup Forever Flash palette and I use the turquoise colour all over my face. I then highlighted the areas that I wanted using the Revolution foundation in white, and I just put them like on my cheekbones, brows and chin, and I also put it down my nose just to give my face a bit of definition. Once the face was done, I then went onto the neck and I used the white foundation and I dragged that all down the neck and chest area using a stipple brush. I then go back into my Makeup Forever Flash palette and I grab the blue colour and I start to stipple this onto my chest area, but I don't cover up all the white, I just focus it on certain parts of my chest. I then use the same blue and I start to contour my face using the same brush as well, and I basically just go on my forehead, my cheekbones and down the side of my nose, and I also do a tiny bit on the chin. This just helps give more definition to my face. Once I am finished with the base, I then go in with my RCMA translucent powder just to set the face and chest. I use a Real Techniques brush and I basically stamp this powder on so I don't move any of the contour or highlighter creams that I have placed already. I want to keep them exactly where I have placed them, so I just stamp the powder down. I then use my Patricia Bright Revolution makeup palette, of course, and I used the number 18, this green, and number 14, that blue, and onto a fluffy brush, and I basically just buff that into my eyebrow and underneath my eye area. Using the number 21 in the eyeshadow palette, I wanted to create more depth in my eyes, so I went in and I placed it basically on the outer part of my eye and the inner part of my eye, so it's going to have like a halo finish. I used a more defined brush for this area. Next, I just get a nice fluffy brush and I basically shade down the sides of my nose and all the contour areas with the dark blue colour. I'm just basically softening up all my contours. I then contoured the sides of my mouth using number 21, again the blue, but I wanted to create more depth in my makeup, so I went over everywhere that I did blue. I went over with the eyeshadow in number 22. It's basically just a glittery black, so I went over my lips, nose and my eyes. I went in with the Jachlyn Hill Volume 2 palette and I used the black eyeshadow out of that just to really, again, I'm trying to put as much depth into this makeup look, and I'm still using the same brush and I'm going over the same areas. So when I come to this part, I start to drag the brush down just to create like kind of tears that have rolled down my face. I didn't add any extra colour, I just used the brush that I had applied the blue with, and whatever was left on the brush, I just dragged it down my face. I used a fluffy brush that had the green eyeshadow, and I start to buff that on the outer parts of the blue to really soften and buff everything out. So there's no harsh lines, I want everything to kind of flow together. Again, the fluffy brush with the green, going back and forth over all the colours to really intensify them and build them up slowly. And I just kind of do that throughout the makeup really. Once I am happy with all the blending, clearly with that face, I then go on to my neck and chest, and I use my makeup artist little brush, and I just use some black paint and I start to mimic little fish scales, and I do that all over my neck and chest. So yeah, it's a long process, but we get there. The fish scales were all different shapes and sizes, so I did a few small ones at the top and I gradually went bigger towards the end of my neck and chest. Once I'm finished drawing all the scales on my neck and chest, I then went in and used a red paint, and I start to fill some areas in red. I go back into the blue from the Makeup Forever Flash palette, and I go on top of the areas that I had already placed the blue down from the first time, and I'm going on top of that and I'm really intensifying that area. Next up, I highlight the face using the Centric eyeshadow palette by Revolution, and I use a mint shade colour and a white that has an undertone of a green, and I basically run this with the fluffy brush basically all over my face, to be honest. I highlighted the tears, I highlighted my lips, my nose and my forehead. I then spritzed my face with some Fix Plus because I want some areas to be really metallic and really stand out. So I go back in with a smaller, more defined, dense brush, and I use the same eyeshadow colour. So it's that mint and the white shimmer in that palette, and I just intensify the middle part of my eye and some of the tears as well. I popped black eyeliner on my waterline. Next, to create more of a wet finish to my mermaid look, I use the Makeup Revolution, I think it's like a Friends collection. I have a shade Rachel in the clear lip gloss. And I start to pop that on the tears to make it look more realistic. I also put it on my lips and I popped it in the centre of my eyes. And then I also went down onto my neck and chest and I popped some on my... just a few scales to give it that wet look. And here, my friends, is the final result. I absolutely love how my mermaid turned out. So this is my entry for the Makeup Revolution Sink or Swim. I popped on a white wig, as you can see, and I also pre-made them fish fins at the side of my head. So how I made the fish fins is I drew out what I thought looked like fish fins and I drew them out on a thick piece of paper. I just coloured them in with normal pencils. You could colour them in with marker, whatever, and I just stuck them onto my wig with bobby pins. So yeah, it was that simple. So if you like this tutorial, don't forget to give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel by clicking the subscribe button down below. And I will list all the products that I use also in the description box down below, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye.